Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and to the garage. I'm Richard and this is Lap of the World. We are working today on one last refresh task on our 320,000 mile NSX back here before it will be ready to go back out in the world and find more road trips and racetracks. This is an issue that I've now either been kind of working around, avoiding, or just dealing with since I've owned the car, and that is the issue of high-speed wiper lift. I actually wasn't sure if I really even wanted to make this video given the vociferous response that I got when several years ago I asked others about their experiences with this problem on one of the NSX Facebook groups. That went a little something like this. Hey, has anyone not using the OEM wiper blades, the one with a wing on the driver's side, experienced wiper lift at high-ish speeds, like 70 to 80 miles per hour? And don't just say Rain-X, I still don't want the wiper flapping around when I might need to clear muck or debris that a hydrophobic coating won't handle. Thanks.
My God, what is a demented hooligan like you even doing with an NSX? To think you would recklessly endanger one of these priceless sports cars by driving it in the rain, and over 55 miles per hour at that. It's only through luck that you haven't killed multiple busfuls of orphans and pregnant women with your maniacal driving.
So I'll apologize for the potentially over-dramatic reenactment there, but it was too entertaining of an anecdote to pass up. And of course, it being an NSX group, there were plenty of other very rational and helpful responses. And that individual just kind of showed themselves out of the group not too long afterwards. The internet's not for everybody, people. But here we are on the internet, and that's what we were talking about today, is high-speed wiper lift on a first-generation NSX. It should go without saying that I don't condone reckless driving or speeding in the rain. For the keyboard warriors out there, though, please consider a few things. At least in my case, I've experienced wiper lift at apparent speeds as low as 70 miles per hour, which, racetracks aside, is a common limit where we live in Tennessee. Moreover, many western states have 75 or even 80+ mile per hour limits. And if you paid attention in physics, you'll realize that you not only must take into account the ground speed of the car, but also the air speed of the wipers, which might be different. Driving at the old double nickel into a 30 mile per hour headwind is pushing air across your windshield and wipers at 85. I've most acutely experienced this issue in the past, either in windy highway conditions, especially where I've needed to use a higher speed wiper setting, or at rainy track events. Most HPDEs and TTs will run rain or shine, and I've dealt with this at Road America, VIR, or even the much slower Roebling Road, and most recently at the firm. As implied earlier, I do use one of the #not-sponsored hydrophobic windshield coatings, but I don't want to continue to rely on something that wears off in typically less than a month, or that could be compromised by harsh cleaners, so we're back to sorting out the wipers. Personally, I think even the potential of impaired visibility at even modest speeds is a compelling reason to take action, as arguably the two most important things you can have in inclement conditions are situational awareness and good tires, in that order. The engineers building the NSX clearly knew that wiper lift was a thing, as the factory wiper frames have an airfoil built in to help combat this. In my case, this feature didn't make the transition from the previous owner to myself, and I've now spent long enough experimenting with modern frame, beam, and hybrid-style blades to have the obvious epiphany that those engineers probably knew what was best. So that's how we're going to deal with the problem. I've procured a brand new driver's side wiper complete with airfoil. I've also bought a matching unit for the driver's side, mainly for aesthetics. And then lastly, in the interest of covering all my bases, I've also procured a new lower wiper arm for the driver's side. Some of those aforementioned rational and helpful responses online suggested that even folks in Germany and Austria with Autobahn access were having good luck with newer beam-style blades. There's a non-zero chance then that the spring in my original lower arm may also be showing its age after 30+ years, so no reason to leave this to chance while the parts are still available. Now, as we're doing this, I'm also going to take the opportunity to reclock these wiper arms a little bit. I think as you can see down here, the driver's wiper has some room to give to the bottom of the windshield, and I can also confirm that at least at the faster operating settings for the wiper, it does hit the edge up in this area. Not enough to damage the paint. Any of those chips you see are from more than likely flying road debris, but it does hit, which is not as designed. Meanwhile, on the passenger side, you can see that while at rest, the passenger wiper extends off the bottom of the windshield, and these are the correct length, I did confirm, but I think they are just, again, it's an issue of the arms being clocked a little wrong on their respective splines. So we'll adjust the passenger side wiper up a tick and the driver's side wiper down a tick, and that should fix those problems. Now, I'm not going to walk you through changing wiper blades, as that is something that should be well within the reach of anyone watching. However, for my purposes, I first marked the upper and lower edges of where the blades sat at rest to facilitate some slight reclocking, and then loosened the 17mm cap nuts to pull the blade arms off. I've heard some folks needing a small puller to remove the arms due to corrosion. Luckily, in my case, they came off fairly freely. It's recommended to use a little anti-seize on the splines when reassembling to save yourself some potential headaches down the road, though. The torque spec for the top nuts on the wiper blades is conspicuously absent from any of these shop manuals, so you'll have your choice of going with the VW mechanic approach of Guten Tight, or the ever-popular single grunt with your smallest ratchet. I did find an NHTSA bulletin that suggested about 20 foot-pounds as well. Please use your own judgment here, or look to the comments where someone may have corrected me with the correct torque spec for the NSX in particular. Now, with going back to the true original equipment wiper blades on the car, there is one compromise, and that is, at least on the driver's side blade, I'm not going to be able to just walk into a chain store and walk out with a replacement with the equivalent aerodynamic device on it. I will instead need to purchase refills, so just the rubber element and its little aluminum stiffener. Not every chain store still sells those, but I think it's a small sacrifice to have a little bit of an arts and crafts projects, or need to order some every other year in exchange for being able to see all the time in the rain. Probably worth it. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this brief adventure, and maybe a little bit of a rant in there somewhere. But I am pleased that I was able to find these and they are still sold. I've left part numbers. I'll put them back on the screen here because at least as of the publishing of this video, it was all still available, at least globally, if not at your local Acura dealer. But yeah, so should be better off driving in the rain at any speed at this point in time. So that hopefully won't need that on the way to, from, or around Mid-East meet. But we'll see a bunch of you, I guess when I publish this, we'll see a bunch of you probably in the next week or so from when this video will be published. So I'll look forward to that. You guys can check out my fancy new wiper blade frames up here if you want to. But anyway, yeah, we're going to leave it there, keep a simple video, but just one last thing that I wanted to take care of is something that's been kind of nagging me, or that I've been dealing with since I've had the car. It's finally resolved, I hope. So yeah, but yeah, thanks again for watching. Until next time, I'm Richard. This is Lap the World. We'll see you guys in the next video, not at the track.